Okay, we'll go ahead and call to order at 6:01. And before we get started, I have a disclosure to make. I am running for office. So there are a number of conflicts of interest that may come up with that, and I may recuse myself as a result of that. Uh, because you're not allowed to campaign any further or campaign, so I will end discuss. There will be no discussion on my disclosure. And if Curtis could please note that in the minutes according to the neighborhood board plan. Thank you very much. And we'll go ahead and continue with the roll call.
Hey. Char. Salasa. Absent. Witham. Absent. Kirchman. Here. Gallant. De La Cruz. Silva.
Present.
Eberhardt. Mitchell.
Here.
Nakamoto. Depico Swane. Absent. Kirby. Steelquist. Kawano. Absent. Chan. Absent. Lee.
Here.
And Peters. Absent. Chair, you do have quorum.
Thank you very much, Curtis. And we'll go to our first order of business, Honolulu Fire Department. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Neighborhood Board. Captain Go with Honolulu Fire Department, and this is firefighter Hano Hano Hong to read our monthly report.
So for the month of October, we had one structure fire in the area, 20 activated alarms.
If you don't mind speaking more directly into the mic.
Can
Thank you very
do.
much.
123 medical calls, and 20 motor vehicle crashes. Oh, just 2 here. And then 2 motor vehicle collisions with a pedestrian. Fire safety tip for the month. Cooking safety. Food has a unique way of bringing family and friends together, especially during the holidays. Cooking can be a relaxing activity. However, it is important to be aware that cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires and home injuries. By following a few safety tips, you can prevent these dangerous situations. Stay alert while cooking. If you're sleepy or have consumed alcohol, avoid using the stove or stovetop. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking. Never leave the stove and heated appliances unattended. Use a timer to remind yourself to check on your food regularly. Keep combustible items like oven mitts, wooden utensils, food packaging, and towels away from your stovetop. And keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas. That's it.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees?
Richard Ching. I live at on Green Street. I have we had a fire alarm at 1427 again, and it went all night. I mean, you guys came there. You guys said I don't know what the lady's problem is, but she said she tried to shut it off. But that place is a nightmare.
Did we not show up?
You guys showed up, yeah, and you went in there. I don't know what happened. Got it shut off, but then you guys left, and then it just kept going on and then on.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I can't speak to the specific incident you're referring to, but the last time I went there for an activated alarm, someone was barbecuing next to a smoke detector, and that's what set it off. So, you know, we had the building representative, I think she lives on the first floor, reset the system for us, and we instructed her to notify the fire alarm company that this is a false alarm due to barbecuing. So she said she would do that, and I'm not sure what happened after that, but when we left, it was the system was off, and the recommendation would be, right, and we talked to the guy, please don't barbecue near smoke detectors. Right. And so then that's the best we could do. So is there any?
No, I'm glad that you have somebody there on site because we've been wanting somebody on site for a while.
Yeah, I mean, she was not technically the building.
No, she's just a resident.
Right, so, but she has the phone number of the owner or whatever, and so they need to designate someone that's there on property.
Yeah.
Sort of and or manage it. She stepped up. Great.
Yeah.
That's something.
Oh, yeah, if you could speak into the mic, please. Sorry.
Maybe you can take that up with your building owner or manager, property manager. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Are there any other questions from attendees? Yes, Nancy, go for it. If you could speak into the mic. Thank you, Nancy.
Can you approach, please? Battery or something? 'Cause I found it and I was scared.
So Nancy's holding up something. Is this a battery or something?
It's a battery.
That's it.
Okay.
Like, where?
Yeah. I don't believe it's a bullet, but I'm not 100% sure. Looks like a battery or a part.
It's not a bullet.
No, I don't think it's a bullet.
Here comes the police. I'll call a recess.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
It's a bait battery.
But I was like, how else am I? Yeah. All right. Hi.
Okay, we're ready to come back out of recess?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Nancy. And I just wanted to say thank you very much to HPD for all the work that they've been doing. I don't know what our fatalities are at right now, but I know it's much higher than it. Well, there shouldn't be one, but it's much higher than it should be. And they've been ramping up their efforts. There was some very concerted efforts around some of the neighborhood areas such as Tipsy Pig, which was on our agenda before. And they haven't changed their ways, but it has improved a little bit. And that's partly thanks to HPD. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
Okay. I guess we'll double back. Were there any more questions for fire department? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. All right, Sergeant. Thank you for being here.
Sergeant Brian Morris, HPD. This is my area responsibility. Nancy, you're welcome. The Tipsy Pig thing, I know it's, I'm better looking. I know I'm taller. No, but Tipsy Pig, I know it's been a problem, mostly nighttime, right? I know there have been enforcement. I know even the traffic guys came out at one point and was actually enforcing over there. So I'm glad it's getting better. They'll continue to do it. I mean, I can't speak for nights because I'm getting off, but I know nights they do a lot of traffic enforcement, and that's one of the spots they have gone to. Chick-fil-A is the other one that came up last time. I know they've been trying. I heard them last night on the radio in the area addressing the complaint at Chick-fil-A. I never talked to the lieutenant as to what the outcome was, but I do know they are checking at night because the complaint was at night.
If you could speak into the mic. Thank you, Nancy.
Woohoo. Yeah, there's still issues. Last weekend, no, the weekend before, not last Saturday, but the last Saturday before, I saw 3 people walk out of the bar with hard liquor bottles in their hands, and then they stood in the parking lot guzzling. And I did call Liquor Commission. They've been informed. They're going to check on it, but the activity hasn't stopped. But they are more aware that they're being watched, which does help.
Okay.
And I live right there, so I see people get hit. I see bikers get hit, pedestrians. I see a lot of accidents, and I really don't want anyone else to die. So, I'm all about safety and what we can do for our community, and I just really appreciate what you guys are doing to ramp up the efforts.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Nancy. Are there any more questions from board members?
You want me to go through the stats real quick? We kind of got.
Oh,
I kind
I'm
of got.
sorry.
pushed-
Yes,
I kind of got.
yes,
pushed around.
please. Sorry. Thank you.
HFT taking my credit earlier. October 25th, October 25. This is last month's stats. Yeah. Motor vehicle thefts 10 last month, whereas previous was 8. Burglaries 6 this last month, which previous was 5. Thefts 30. Previous was 31. Car break-ins, UEMV. It's unauthorized entry motor vehicles, UEMV. Stayed similar, 2 and 2, last month and the month before. Assaults also stayed similar, 11 and 11. Sex assaults, 0s. I like seeing that, 0s. Graffiti, 1 this month. I say this month, last month's stats, but 1 in October, none the month before. I know it's out there. I see it out there as well, but only 1 was reported. Drug cases stayed similar, 4 this month, 5 the month before. So went down 1, which is good for this big of an area. So that's good. Motor vehicle crashes, like they spoke of, it went up a lot. Not crazy ones, but drivers got to drive. And then unfortunately, it's happening too much. 111 in October, whereas 79 the month before. None of them, to my knowledge, were fatalities, which is good. I don't even recall on my shift even more critical. Any accidents too much. Any accidents too much. You know what I mean? We had 20 for the month of October, 2,147 cases. A lot of them at the same house. For the previous month, 2,051. So it went up a little bit, the call volume. We take a lot of calls. You know what I mean? If you guys weren't aware of that. I have 2 of these surveys. You guys all have phones, can do UCRs, I assume. I'm going to pass one around the front here. You guys can scan it and then pass them around. I only have 2 copies. It's a survey, like a police. I don't know what the questions are, but it's a community survey as to what we've done good, what we can do better. I think it takes like 5 minutes tops, but we want to hear from the community what can be done differently. Yeah? Training for today, or my tip for today, a simple one. If you want emergency services, us, HFD, EMS, 911 is the proper way to do it. There's been people in this area who seem to think they can call the substation, they can call the main station, they can email myself or call us on our phones to make a case. It doesn't work that way. Dispatch, either EMS, HPD, or fire, know what questions to ask. They're ready. They can get it all for us. So when we're on the way there, any of us at emergency responders, we can get there fast. We don't have to know the questions that's on our computers. So please, if you want to make a case or call for any services, 911 is the way to do it. And with that, I give you my time, whatever time.
Thank you very much, Sergeant. We'll start with John, and then we'll go with Arthur next.
Okay. We have all these crashes, but aren't they mostly on H1?
It doesn't get that detailed. And I'd say from day watch, no.
No,
Most of them are intersections.
they're within the Makiki, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because all the people driving through, they're not really Makiki, but they come on our record, right?
Yeah, it falls
Yeah.
under us. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Arthur.
Sergeant, question, the 29th of November, we in the Makiki area are going to have a parade around Thomas Square.
The short
What,
parade.
is there any traffic controls that have been set up that the community should be aware of?
Has the department been contacted yet? Because typically they will use not patrol, but they'll use like our community policing or something, or even maybe fourth watch, the recruits to come out and handle that.
The reason I ask is if you go down Ward to King, you can't make a left-hand
Correct,
turn.
correct.
So there's no way to circle around Thomas Square.
I can check. I don't know now. I can check. I would assume there would have to be some sort of traffic. The department had to have been contacted. The command should know about it. If not, but if not, I'll let them know. But what time's the parade? What time is the parade?
It's the entire month of December.
Okay, I thought you just said the
It's a
29th.
parade, but the buses are going to.
Arthur, speak into the mic, please. Thank you.
The initial parade is on the 29th, I believe.
Okay.
But
Is it, I didn't interrupt you. Is it evening or is it daytime? I mean, so I can let.
evening,
evening.
6 o'clock, I think it starts.
Okay.
But the balance of the month, we have the trolleys that will be going around Thomas Square.
That's for the lights, right?
Yes.
Trolleys will have to follow the laws. You can't expect us to stop every time the trolley comes by. The parade, probably, there must be a permit or something that would allow us to be involved with that. No, it's typically not patrol that handles, but I can ask, I can try and find out and try to get somebody there for you guys.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Arthur. I thought I saw one more hand for police from the board members. Okay, nope. Seeing none, are there any questions from? Okay, Claire, go for it.
Claire Santos on Tipito. I wanted to ask anything on my five-way intersection. I've seen once police there monitoring at about 11 a.m. Nobody stopping at the stop signs. We have any new stats on that, or is it still just rolling stop central?
I've personally, I hate to talk to you, you're behind me. I've given a couple of tickets. I went there a couple times today. They're supposed to come to a complete stop. Not many do. I mean, I unfortunately, I know I've given a couple tickets. I could speak for my group. The other watch, I'm not sure the other platoon that works through. It's a constant check we make amongst the many other checks. But yeah, we are still looking, checking. And if we get a blatant one, they're going to get pulled over. There's no question of that. You got to stop. But yeah, we're doing our best. Okay.
Go on record thanking HPD. I know you're short-staffed and covering a large amount of territory. Thank you for trying to help keep that intersection safer.
Thank you, Claire. Are there any other questions from attendees? Yes.
Yeah, Richard Ching, 1099 Green Street. We've had a number of incidents over.
If you don't mind speaking into the.
We have had a
Thank
number
you
of
very much.
incidents at 1427. We've called, there was a party the other night, like 10 cars parked on the street. We called the police, they came, they chased them away, but there's a lot of drug activity in that building, and I don't know how. I've talked to Narco about this, and they don't seem to be able to do anything about it. We have one guy, I think he's the drug dealer, but I don't know his name. But I have his license plate number. He's there all the time. He gets tons of tickets, but he never moves. If you want to, yeah, okay. Yeah, in fact, we just called today on the same guy. But yeah, that neighborhood it kind of went bad when 1427 got built. So, my complaint.
Thank you for that. As for, I can't even see you now. As for Narco getting involved, a lot of times you're not going to know they're there. They're not clean shaven. They're not in uniform. No. They might look like one of your crumbs, just so you know. And they may be doing their investigation without your or my knowledge. They don't even tell us they're going there most times. Only if they're going to raid a place do we get even notified. A lot of times we drive by, we don't even know they're even there. So just because you called them does not mean they're not looking into it. And as for the parking, which I heard the call today, and I know they cited the car today. I can see, well, today's my Friday. I can try and get, if it's all expired, we can probably tow it. I can see it. I did it, we'll keep doing it. Yeah. I mean, eventually it's going to cost too much to get, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, we can start with that. And we can keep doing that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Sure, you bet.
Thank you very much, Richard. Are there any other questions from attendees? Claire.
You already had one.
Did I use up my quota? Thank you, Chair. We have new construction happening on that short section of Alapai Street. And those construction guys, they do what they do. So they're parking all kind of ways and parking in the wrong direction, parking on top. They're staging inside our driveways, private property, no trespassing sign. What's our recourse in these situations?
You brought that up last month, correct?
Just started the last couple of weeks.
I thought somebody brought that up last month. The partitions. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
The dust shield, I think they call them dust shields. The black, it's all on the, I guess it'd be the north side of the road, right? Malka. Yeah. I've seen them over there. I've not seen the cars being illegally parked per se. I actually checked on it because somebody made a comment about it last week. If they're in your driveway, if they're parking illegally, give us a call. And we have one, it's right there by the same intersection you're talking about, right? Yeah, I've seen them there. I don't really see anybody sadly working. Are they working behind the dust shield, the inside that lot?
Oh.
Okay.
Claire.
They got that blue container. She's loud. They have that blue container on the road, right? On the one side, the big blue like metal container. I saw it out there today when I drove by. I can try and talk, maybe check a permit, maybe talk to them about the parking issue and the private property issue. Maybe they can do it some other place. That area is so small and they're big trucks.
Making their problem our problem, outstanding.
It's fine. If I can't check, call. If it's a parking complaint, give us a call. You can be anonymous. We'll come by. If we have a violation, we'll take care of it. Okay. Better you call when it's happening though, but we'll do. We'll make checks. Sure.
Thank you very much, Claire.
Chair.
Okay. Seeing no more questions, thank you very much, Sergeant.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Happy Thanksgiving. Take care.
Next up, we have Board of Water Supply, Michelle Harmon.
Aloha Kako. Yep, Michelle Harmon with your
If
board.
you don't mind speaking into the mic.
It's a little bit hot. Can I?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Okay, that was. All right. So for main breaks, we have 6 instances for October. Some of them are repeat addresses though. So on October 14th, we had a 4-inch at 2345 Mauna Loa Road, 1015 and 8-inch at 2091 Round Top. On 1017, a 4-inch at 2357 Mauna Loa. 1020, an 8-inch at 2091 Round Top. 1020, an 8-inch at 2109 Makiki Heights Drive. 1021, an 8-inch at 2109 Makiki Heights Drive. And installation dates were mostly 1934, except for Mauna Loa, which is unknown. And then we have our general water announcement for November. And it's very timely. It's about main breaks. So when a main break occurs, the Board of Water Supply works quickly to reduce the impact to customers, protect public safety, and restore service. For the latest updates on main breaks, generally for information about pipes 4 inches or larger, and information on how repairs are made, visit www.boardofwatersupply.com/mainbreaks. You can also stay informed on Facebook and Nextdoor. And for larger, more impactful main breaks, sign up for HNL Alert. And that's all I have for you this month. And I can take questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. Michelle, are there any questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Nope. Thank you very much, Michelle. Have a good night.
Everybody, you too.
Next up, Megan Johnson, Mayor Rick Belangiardi's representative.
Hi, good evening. Megan Johnson on behalf of Mayor Belangiardi. In the interest of time, a written report with responses to questions that were posed at last month's meeting was submitted to Chair Char. So if anyone has any questions, you can let me know. I also just dropped a link to the mayor's November newsletter in the chat and just wanted to highlight a few things from the newsletter. Wanted to announce that Skyline Segment 2 opened for service and it added 5 miles and 4 new stations, including Pearl Harbor and the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. Also, the city's early education center is relocating as multi-year repairs begin for the municipal parking structure. And I also wanted to mention that new sewer rates will go into effect on January 1st, 2026 for Oahu residents. So you can read more about these announcements in the mayor's November newsletter. And that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Thank you very much for the brief report and the submitted written report. Are there any questions from board members? Linda.
I would like to know if you had any updates or information statistics regarding how the rail ridership is going.
Oh, actually, I believe that the Department of Transportation Services Director is there. Is Roger Morton in the audience?
Yes, he is.
He-
He's coming
it-
up to the microphone.
He's would be a better subject matter expert than me. Sorry, Roger, to put you on the spot.
No problem. Since we opened Skyline, we've been running somewhere between 10,500 to 10,800 a day. But starting this week, we jumped up to about 11,500. We attribute that to the government opening up again and federal workers going back to work. So far, so good. Any questions on that?
Thank you very much, Director.
Thank you, Roger.
Are there any other questions from board members? Arthur.
We direct it to the Department of Transportation, gentlemen?
Well, is it really, if it's related, because we have him as our agenda item a little bit further forward, so thank you, Arthur. I guess I have a concern that I've been hearing, which is for Parks and Rec, if you don't mind taking back to them, the off-leash dog park over that is almost done, if not already done, over at Punahou Square is too small for
okay.
dogs.
Oh,
I
okay.
just want to relay that complaint. I've been hearing it a lot. And
Okay.
yes.
Is there more specific information? I mean, I've seen the fence off area. Is there anything more specific about why it's too small, or what they would
Yes.
like to have addressed?
Yes. So there is a giant tree kind of in the middle of the space.
Okay.
Between it and its large roots, it creates a very large like a large area that you can't really like walk around safely.
Okay.
Which cuts down on, space that folks can actually do stuff with their dogs.
Okay. Okay, I will pass that along to
Yeah.
Parks and Recreation. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are there any questions from attendees for the mayor's representative? Seeing none, thank you very much, Megan.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Councilmember Scott Nishimoto.
Aloha, Chair and Board. This is Taylor from Councilmember Nishimoto's office. I just wanted to quickly share an announcement that we'll be hosting a community cleanup on December 6th at Pava'a Inha Park. So members of the community are welcome to join. We've partnered with DPR, and they're going to be bringing a whole bunch of supplies to help with this cleanup. But, we'd be happy to have more community members out there. But yeah, from 9 to 11 a.m. But other than that, I'm happy to take any questions back to my boss.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Are there any questions for the council member or for Taylor? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Taylor.
Thank you, Chair.
Next up, we have Councilmember Tyler Dos Santos Tam.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. really bright. Okay. I've shared our November newsletter in the chat. A particular constituent request that was submitted to our office was on November 7th. It was initiated, the investigation was initiated, and it was regarding Dole Community Park. The field is browning, and so a service request was submitted to DPR, and their maintenance support services is now going to seed the area and irrigate the area, so it is no longer, so it will be watered, and the area will hopefully grow grass and no longer have dirt and dust kicking around when people are kids and people are trying to use the park. So that is the update. And if you all have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Robin. I was gonna say, if you're doing that with Dole Park, would you mind doing that with Makiki District Park as well? Because it's half dead. Well, more than half dead now.
Yes, we can submit that as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I see folks rushing to. Okay, we'll start with Adam and then Chuck. Adam.
Yeah. I just wanted to piggyback off of what Nathan Char said about the park. Last time we brought this up, they stated that the irrigation system was working properly and that it wasn't a problem. And we have many people who've actually came forward and said that is not the case. So if the parks department can come back and take a better look at that, we might actually get our grass back.
Understood.
Thank you, Adam. Chuck.
Yes, Robin, would you be able to ask the councilman if he could attend our January meeting to share more light on that Bill 72 that he introduced regarding affordable housing, preferably in
Yes.
person?
Sure, I can ask him.
Thank you.
Nancy.
Hi, Robin.
Hello.
I'm Nancy Dipswani.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. I was wondering if there was an update on, this is actually Nu'uanu area, but we had done a cleanup on Nu'uanu Poly Drive, and we, Matt from Muloha and the junk trucks came and we did a huge cleanup over there, and we sent you some emails about that. And we were wondering if I was just wondering if there was a cleanup over there. Yeah, if there was a response to that. The whole mountainside was actually not mountain, it was just garbage underneath that entire area going into the stream. And I was just wondering if they had checked that out.
Is it ENV? Is it
Your office, we had sent emails to your office and spoken with you, and both me and Matt from Uloha, that camping store.
okay, and it was
August.
council member or
Yes.
in particular? Do you know
Oh.
who specifically?
I believe
I can go back to our office and see.
Yeah, I believe I had spoken with you. That would have been the end of August, beginning of September. And I had sent some photos. There was an entire mountains side. When you look over the guardrails, it looks like it's dirt, but when you lift up the top layer of dirt, almost the entire hill is trash.
Okay, yeah, I can get back to you on that for next.
And it's not Makiki, but I was just wondering.
Okay. I'll make a note of that, Nancy. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Are there any further questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Governor Josh Green's representative, Russell Payne.
Yes, I'm here. Aloha, Chair. Thank you very much. Aloha, everybody. I just have a quick couple of items I want to share with you folks. First is related to graffiti cleanup along the H1 freeway. This past Saturday in the early morning hours, between like 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., the State Department of Transportation was shut down a couple lanes on the H1 between Ward Avenue, the Ward Avenue overpass, and Ernest Street, and that was to conduct some graffiti removal, and mostly along the area, the outcroppings along Magellan Avenue, in that area. So we're very pleased that we're able to do that this past weekend, but we're not done. The crews are going to go back this Saturday morning, same hours between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. We're going to shut down a couple lanes of the H1 westbound between, again, Ward Avenue overpass and Ernest Street to do some graffiti removal. And if you do see graffiti in the area along the H1 at any time, please just give me a heads up, and we'll do an assessment and hopefully send some crews out there to take care of that. The other thing I wanted to bring up related to what was discussed earlier that Nancy brought up, and of course our wonderful HPD brought up as well, and that's safety on our roads. I did want to bring to everyone's attention that this week is Crash Responder Safety Week, and that is designed to remind all motorists of Hawaii's move over law. And that requires that if you're driving and you see an accident on the side of the road and the police or a tow truck are tending to that crash, you as a driver are required to slow down and move over and give the responders some time to work safely. And this is very vital because last year we had 20 police officers who were injured and 2 ambulance workers injured when they were responding to a crash. So we do want to just bring that to everyone's attention. And with that, I did put our Governor Green's newsletter in the chat room, and that's all I had, Chair.
Thank you very much, Russell. Are there any questions from board members? Seeing none, Russell, did you happen to have any updates on or are you able to stick around a little bit longer for our discussion on traffic safety issues? Because I believe on the agenda we have. No, never mind. We do not have Luna, Lilo, and Ward on the agenda. But do you have any updates on that?
Not a definite update at this time. I did bring that concern up with some of our engineers, and we're talking about the area on Ward, if I'm not mistaken. And this was a concern brought up that someone had, I think it might have been Chuck, this had suggested as you're going Mauka on Ward, to make a dedicated left turn onto, is that Cook? And I did bring that up with our engineers. There are a couple issues with that as far as just the availability of space in that area. It's a little, would be a little difficult to provide a dedicated left turn lane. There's also some issues with where the positioning of the light signal, the left turn light signal would be, and whether there would be enough space to do that as well. So again, our engineers are continuing to look into the whole area, not just that left turn area, but Also, as you're headed Mackay on Ward, that left turn onto the H1 eastbound is also a concern, I know. So our engineers are continuing to look into that as well. And while we're on the subject, before anybody asks, the repaving of the Ward overpass as well as the Kiyomoku overpass, I don't have a date yet. It's in the books. They're working on it, but I just don't have a date for it yet. Hopefully in the new year, I'll be able to bring you some better news on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Russell. Are there any questions? Okay, so there's no questions from board members. Are there any questions from attendees?
I'd like to ask a question.
Awesome, Richard.
Russell, do you have any idea when I'm going to do Tantalus on Top Drive?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, when are they going to pave Round Top Drive?
Okay. The Round Top Drive is falls under the city's jurisdiction. I see Roger raising his hand up there. If he'd like to give an update, but I can't speak on Round Top Drive.
I guess I mean that's not on the agenda. We can go ahead and answer it. Or oh, later. Okay, that's cool too. Okay. Are there any other questions from attendees? Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much, Russell.
Thank you, Chair. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Okay, starting with board business. Approval of written summary for video record Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Are there any corrections? Mitchell.
I haven't heard anything from Kate Ozawa, Kim Coco, Tsurumoto's representative. And I have a question specifically for her. I was looking at the redistricting, and I noticed that the 26th district has been moved down lower. Do you know anything about that? And how is that going to affect our election and people are running for office?
Okay, that's well, you can submit that question to their office. They are not on the agenda because I asked them to only submit written reports so that we can make way for really delving into the DTS.
Well, this is a specific question from
yes
from a member. So I'd like to get a response.
Hi, I'm
Okay.
actually here. I don't as I believe like legislators aren't really allowed to have a say in redistricting. I don't think Rep intentionally did anything to alter the district borders. I can ask her, but yeah, I would not know anything about that.
Yeah, it's part of Della Balati's old district. So it's kind of surprising that all of a sudden she's running for Congress and all of a sudden the district is cut up. You know, as an old, long time political junkie, when I see this, it makes me really wonder, you know, are people being forced out of office by redistricting and what's going on?
Okay, thank you, Sam, for bringing up that concern. Okay, moving on, coming back to the approval of written summary. Are there any? There are no corrections. Oh, okay, we have a motion to accept. Second by Chuck. Are there any objections to or abstentions from adopting the written summary? Seeing none, we have our minutes. Next up, we have motion to support the Hurt 100 train rain. Marion. Oh, train run. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Trail run.
Hi,
Trail
my
run.
name's Marian Yasuda. I am here to represent Hurt Inc. And tell you a little bit about our race that we have in January. This will be the 26th running of the Hurt 100. It's a trail run up on the trails of Tantalus, Manoa, and Nuuanu. And starts on January 17th, 6 a.m. and finishes on Sunday, January 18th at 6 p.m. We have about 130 participants that run 5 loops of Tantalus, 20 miles each loop. They start at the Makiki Nature Center. It's 99% on trails, go up to the top of Tantalus, then go down to Manoa to Paradise Park. And then that's our first aid station. Then they go back up and then go over and down to Jackass Ginger in Nuuanu. That's our second aid station. Then they go back up and then return to Makiki Nature Center. So that's one 20-mile loop. They'll do that 5 times. So we have, we're very mindful of our impact on the neighbors, especially where the aid stations are. So we do our best to minimize the impact by managing parking primarily. Because 130 runners, they have family and friends that are supporting them. It can impact the neighborhood. So what we do is at Nature Center, we partner with Halau Kumana, which is the charter school there. And we make a donation to them. And in exchange, we use 2 of their parking lots, and their kids and the kids' parents help to manage the parking during the 36 hours of the race. In Manoa, we pay the Paradise Park and we use part of their parking area. And they also are generously allowing our family and friends of runners to pay $7 for a weekend pass. And so they can come and go all weekend for $7. And then at Nuuanu, because it's so narrow and there's just no room, we do not allow any parking. So we have a shuttle service for our volunteers, and no family or friends are able to go to that aid station at all. So Nuuanu is off limits for parking. So we, like I said, do our best to minimize the impact on the neighbors, and we're asking for your support for our event to happen again in January.
Thank you very much, Marian. Motion. So I would like to motion to support the Hurt 100 trail run. Second from John Seelquist. Discussion. I believe they need actually our successful motion to support, right, in order to go ahead with this. So yes, it is as you just heard, it's a very, very awesome cause. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Are there any? Oh,
Yeah.
Seelquist.
Yeah, make a comment. It's a very well-run organization. I've been like doing for 25 years. And I lived up Tantalus for 36 years. So, yeah, and they're really good. And so it's well worth supporting them.
Thank you, John. Linda.
Aloha. Is the race every year or every other year or how
Every
often?
year.
Every year. Well,
Yeah,
kudos to all the
January.
runners. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, is there any objection or abstention from adopting this motion? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you very much, Marian.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, moving on to the next bit of business. So the vote on a resolution urging the city and county of Honolulu to study and address traffic and safety issues on Beretania Street near Chick-fil-A Makiki. So in reviewing the minutes from that Bronson wrote in for our September special meeting, I came to the realization that I goofed. There should have been actually 9 votes to pass the resolution, not 8, which means the motion should have passed. The resolution should have passed. I would like to, yes. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do a roll call right now.
Okay, so who would like to motion to support, or who made a motion to support the resolution? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to support.
Char moves and Silva seconds. Okay. And this is to adopt the resolution urging the city and county of Honolulu to study and address traffic and safety issues on Beretania Street near Chick-fil-A Makiki. Chan. Absent. Char. Aye. Dela Cruz.
Aye.
Aye. Tipico Swane. Aye. Eberhard. Aye. Gallant. Kawano. Absent. Kirby. Kirchman.
Aye.
Lee. Mitchell.
Aye.
Nakamoto. Peters. Peters, aye. Salasa, absent. Oh no, he can't vote by proxy. Silva.
Aye.
Aye. Steelquist. And Witham is absent on a vote of 12 ayes, 1 nay, no abstentions. The resolution has been adopted.
Okay, we have our resolution. Thank you very much for Lindsay for being so dedicated and coming to the board for this resolution. Okay, moving on to discussion of traffic safety issues in the neighborhood. And then we're lucky enough, thank you so much to Director Roger Morton and Chief Traffic Engineer Kelly Akasaki. And I believe was there someone from Complete Streets is here as well?
Also, yes, Renee SPL, our Complete Streets Administrator, is also with us tonight.
And if you could bring the mic just up, thank you so much.
Okay. Does that sound better? Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. First, I apologize that the last time we got a mix up in what the board desired from us, and I think we sent someone from our parking side. Our mistake. But today we have brought our very leaders of our traffic safety side here, and Chair Char, thank you very much for giving us a little bit of an advance notice of what type of issues will be brought up. And I know that our staff has taken a look at the issues, and we're prepared to talk to those issues. So do you want? I mean, I see the issues are listed on the agenda. Do you want us to start on first of all the 5-way intersection?
Yes, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, I'm going to ask Kelly, who's probably more, more intimately involved in that project than I am, to come and talk about that one.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Director.
Good evening, Kelly Akasaki, Transportation Engineering Division Chief at DTS. There's quite a few items on the list, so we tried to get as much information as we could. For the 5-way intersection, since it was installed in December of 23, we have no major recorded incidents or crashes in the HPD records. That doesn't mean there's not close calls or minor accidents. We don't have any major incidents reported with them. So the difference between a minor accident and a major accident is if you have a minor who HPD determines is less than 3,000, it only has name, insurance, address, and the two parties or whoever is involved. There's no information of what the accident was, what the movement was, who was responsible, any witnesses. When it becomes a major crash, all of that information is there. So it goes from a half-page report to 6, 7, 20, 30, depending on photos. So that's where the minor crashes, we don't have much data for, because it doesn't really say what exactly happened or where. And then the major incidents actually have a diagram of the crash. We don't have any major since it was installed. But I do understand that there still are concerns, and we are still monitoring the area. Are there specific questions about it? I know HPD was up here and monitoring for the rolling stops, and we have asked them to also do that as well. Are there any other issues that you wanted to bring up for the 5-way intersection?
Yes, Claire, right behind you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director. And Kelly, thank you. Claire Santos, I am the thorn in your side. I've been trying to get that five-way intersection dealt with since the 1990s. It is chronically dangerous, and there have been horrific accidents. And you know, a few years ago, we lost Mr. Milikini in that tragic car accident. At that point in time, I was so upset with the situation that I contacted the news media, who got things rolling because I couldn't get through with DTS. We kept being told nothing can be done at that intersection. This went on for a couple decades. So now Mr. Milikini died, and a news reporter posted on social media. So I commented and she interviewed me. Then she went around to city council, etc. That's how DTS finally acted. We met, and there was a meeting with the community for which we were grateful, but the community wanted a more definitive remedy, and what we got was a five-way stop, which we knew was useless, and we were really upset that that was the answer. So we've tolerated the five-way, no stopping. You're using the wrong unit of measure. You're going with accidents and major and minor. That is not the point. The intersection is chronically, severely dangerous. Pedestrians can't cross. No one's stopping at the stop signs. The police, I sat out there for half an hour with HPD and no one stopped. When he turned on his blue light, then we got some people to stop. They were ticketing, HPD ticketed this morning. We need, please, a more definitive solution here. No more monitoring. We know it's dangerous. It's as dangerous as ever. The measure is danger, and it's critically dangerous. We can't cross the street. So I'm asking on behalf of my community, please come up with a better solution. The five-way stop signs aren't it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Claire.
Sure. Given the geometry, the geometrics, the grades, the angles of the five legs, it's a little difficult to put any other type of definitive traffic control there. It's not big enough for a roundabout. There are no sidewalks. Other than a five-leg traffic signal, which again, even in that aspect would be a little hard to synchronize because the legs kind of come down, you know, in the same direction. I really don't feel there is another solution other than the always stop. And I'm here for any recommendations. The space is not wide enough for a roundabout. Yes.
John.
Why don't you close one of the 5 lanes and make it a 4-way stop, and then you could deal with it?
Sure, sure. That would be total reconstruction, and that is an option. That also means taking of land. So that means taking of the properties that are not city and county, and it would mean either condemning them and redesigning it. Correct. That is an option that can be done. It will be costly and it will take time. They are doing a brand new construction on that one second corner where that, yes. So, I mean, that's an option. We would need funding to do that because it would mean taking property.
Okay, Ian. And then if you could give us your name.
Sure. Thank you very much. Ian Ross, Chair, thank you for recognizing me. I want to say that DTS and Councilmember Tyler DeSantos Tam did a really good job engaging the community a few years back. There was some thoughtful discussion with engineers. And one of the things that came up was the idea of a unique kind of boutique option because they expressed all the concerns you did. There was discussion about a bit of like a bulb out, a sort of, not a roundabout, but a sort of a shape in the middle that would force cars to curve as they drive. And this would prevent a lot of head-on collisions. You wouldn't be able to speed through because you could hit that and maybe get some air time. And in discussing the community, talking with people like Claire and others, there was a lot of interest in this being an option. We understood it had to be researched, but I'd love to hear where you're at on that.
Sure. So like I mentioned before, because the area is limited in size and there's no sidewalks there, if now we put in either a 5-foot round circle, that's something that's for the cars, it is a barrier that they don't have head-ons, but it means you're moving the cars further towards the property, which takes away even the less sidewalk space that's there for peds. So if the concern is for peds and the peds can't walk and cross, that is not a solution that helps the pets. It will help the head-ons and maybe the speeding and not stopping, but for the pet safety, that would just mean I would need to take more property so that I provide more pedestrian space. Does that make sense? We're putting something in a two-way roadway that now would make it 2.5 roadways, right? Like I need to, if I put something in the middle, I'm taking space from something and we already don't have sidewalks there. So you're taking extra space to put something in the middle. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
One recommendation that I believe that was brought up was perhaps if we could have like lights that are activated by pressing the button,
Sure.
Much like to indicate that hey, there's pedestrians here. Much like on Ward Street, I think I mentioned this in my email. Not Ward Street, on Tom Heinrich. I'm sorry to call you out. Yeah, Queen Street and Kamakee.
Yeah.
Uh,
So those are they're called rectangular rapid flashing beacons, and it's pretty much just a PED activated beacon. So you push the button and it'll flash, and that means that they would stop. So again, with the 5 legs, are we talking about just Prospect and Iolani and crossing that way, or are we it would kind of help me to do the study on which way would the flashing lights be? All 5 legs? I mean, we don't usually do that. We usually do it on the minor street that has the crosswalk. And again, they're all stop approach now. So technically all of them are supposed to stop for pedestrian, which is law. So we would do it in a conjunction with a crosswalk. Yeah.
I guess to get the studies going, perhaps if you could examine on along Prospect.
So the main thoroughfare, the one.
The main, the main.
We can look into that and see if it's warranted.
And then I see Claire.
One more try. Most of the pedestrian traffic is crossing over Prospect. There are sidewalks on that side of the road. There aren't on the Malka side. The other thing that I saw in Oregon that impressed me back in August was that they had stop signs where as the vehicle was approaching, something triggered and little flashing lights went on the stop sign. So can we try something like that? Enough with the studies and the nonsense. Let's take some action.
Yes, so that's an easy fix for us. That's just we can do their solar powered flashing lights. It'll flash. You don't really trigger anything. It'll flash all day. So we do have yield signs and stop signs that do flash, and we could do that. And usually they're solar powered, so they'll charge up in the day. Yes, so we can look into that.
Thank you, Claire.
And the concern that we have in the department overall is we've done a tremendous job in this country of reducing the number of people getting killed in cars. And it's been a long-term decline all the way from 1970 all the way to today. But the disturbing thing is that while we've done a great job of reducing the fatalities that are caused by cars, our pedestrian incident rates have almost doubled in the last 10 years. And that's why we try to put as much emphasis on our PEDs as we can, because those are the vulnerable users of the roadways right now. And they are increasingly, I mean, if it was just even holding steady, but it's not, it's going up. And it's been that way for 10 years now. So that's a concern for me and for our Honolulu, but it's a concern across the country.
Thank you, Director. I see online we've got Sam.
I'm hearing all this stuff, and it reminds me what happened with Complete Streets. We used to have crosswalks in the middle of the block, and they took them all away. And the reason why they said they took them away because they wanted to speed up traffic. And didn't do very much for all the old people that were walking on the streets. It just made it more dangerous. And what's happening is we're seeing cars speeding all over the place. So I think that needs to be reviewed again, the philosophy of not having crosswalks.
So I think that the reason crosswalks were taken away mid-block was because of, again, national studies that have shown that the number of incidents of pedestrians getting hurt at those mid-block crosswalks was great. Now, they don't recommend taking them away. They recommend making them safer. And that's what our challenge has got to be throughout the entire island. What do I mean? We talked about those rapid rectangular flashing beacons. There has to be more than just painted lines on the road. Sometimes it can be you see the larger yellow signs, the pedestrians, but there's got to be more. And this is, I'm talking about multi-lane roads. I'm not talking about narrow roads, but on multi-lane roads, we just have had too many of our kapuna killed on Poly, too many on King Street. And that's what's motivated. Now, we haven't taken a lot out in the last 4 or 5 years. We did take quite a few out, and we're actually looking at putting some back, but putting them back with additional safety features so that we don't, so we do the best we can in trying not to exacerbate the situation. The studies showed that people get a false sense of confidence on a mid-block crossing, and also that they're not. These are usually multi-lane roads, so these are arterial roads where traffic is faster. Our kapuna don't move that fast. The cars move faster and faster all the time, and so if you start, but you can get maybe halfway across the road, and then that's when people get hit. So I know it sounds almost counterintuitive. Why are we removing crosswalks? That's why, is because the federal standards for crosswalks tell us that if we have multi-lane roads, we need to do more, and we are doing more.
So I'll add to that. We're not only removing them, we're also installing raised crosswalks. We're installing speed humps. We're installing these rapid flashing beacons. If you notice on School Street and on Date Street, we just put up 2 new solar rapid flashing beacons. They're the same. They're 4-lane roadways, 2 lanes in each direction, multi-lane threat. Right here on Pensacola, all the way down by McKinley, state has helped us put in 4 raised crosswalks. Those are the kind of things that we have to do at these multi-lane crossings if they don't have a traffic signal. So for us, it's hard to just, we're not just trying to take them away and punishing everybody to walk. We're trying to see what kind of features we can put back, to help them enhance the crossing that are there. It takes money, it takes time. Renee does have a Safe Streets for All grant. She is looking at 50 of these uncontrolled crosswalks that have the same issue. She's putting in solar RFBs. We're looking at installing, they're called quick build. They're the delineators that come around kind of like by Stevenson, where we do the bulb outs and we make the shorter crossings, kind of like on North King Street in Kalihi. We do a median made out of delineators and curbing. And those are the kind of things that we can do quickly, right? It's pretty cheap. We just drill it into the ground. It's not concrete, but it's what we're trying to do now, and we're trying to get funding. So with Complete Streets and Safe Streets for All and Vision Zero, we're trying to just enhance these crosswalks. So it's not just a matter of us just taking them away. We're doing a good job of trying to make some of them safer.
Thank you. Next we have Harris.
Thanks for coming, Roger. I really appreciate you coming this evening for this 5-way intersection. What about having some speed bumps that are gradually coming towards each of the intersections? So maybe like 2 or 3 to kind of have people start to decelerate, and that way it will kind of give them some awareness, and also to make them understand that they got to slow down, but they're also coming to a pretty dangerous crossing area, so that there's more attention to it.
Yeah, speed bumps, speed humps, they're a good practice in some places, but not all places, and not in that one. I'll let Kelly talk about that one.
So while I hear we already have community opposition, the only location that I think it would be coming from the Ward Avenue side where it's flatter. If you're coming down from the Prospect side, there is a steep grade. So anything over 8% grade, we don't recommend it, especially coming down after the stop signs. If you come down at a high speed, it can also be a ramp. So we don't do it where grades are steeper. So you don't usually see them on hills. They're more on flat areas. So maybe towards Roosevelt direction, where it's flatter between there and Ward would be the only location, if the community supports it, that probably could have some type of speed hump or raised crosswalk there. There is a crosswalk, I believe, there at one of those, the street right of Ward. I believe there's a crosswalk there for the resident. Yes, Emerson. Yes, correct. So I mean, that's something we can look at. Other things that we look at too is if you go to Kalihi on Cam 4 Road, we paved the shoulders a little wider. It's not a full sidewalk, but we gave them pedestrian space. We put in curbing and delineators, similar to the bike path, just to give them a pedestrian walking space, maybe about 4 or 5 feet. We can also look at that. It's not a full sidewalk, but it's a little space in the area that we can look at. So these are all options that we can look at.
So what is the difference between this one and then the one at Manoa? You know, Manoa, there's 5-way too at Manoa.
Correct. So the Manoa Neighborhood Board has also asked for a roundabout there. That intersection, which is double the size of yours, is not big enough for a roundabout. I mean, just this, normally roundabouts are 20 feet wide, the diameter, and then you have to push everything out. So you put the circumference around there too, and then you build sidewalks, which we don't have the space for at this one. They don't have the space for at that one either. So I've already told that neighborhood board, unless you take some of the property of the homes on the corner, they are not going to be able to fit a roundabout there either. They have also asked.
Thank you, Harris. Adam.
Yeah, Mike, I wanted to piggyback on what he just said a little bit too. Without just a speed bump, I don't know what they're called, but there are several spots throughout the island where when you're riding across them, they make a noise. They just kind of like
rumble strips.
Rumble
Yes.
strips.
So nobody wants that by their homes. It's very noisy, and at night it echoes. So
Okay.
they're usually on freeway off ramps or like in the countryside where there's not a lot of homes close by.
Okay.
Yeah.
My other question is so much that we're talking about the 5-way,
Sure.
but I think more than anything we're talking about the fact that our neighborhood is becoming a means for traffic to escape traffic,
Yes.
and so that makes our neighborhoods more dangerous. So if we can't do something about the 5-way, there's got to be something that can just at least slow down or deter people from utilizing our neighborhood as an escape from traffic.
Sure, sure. And again, one option is to do speed humps or raised crosswalks. We did try to slow them down at Stevenson, like I mentioned. We brought the bulb outs out. We put those ped crossing signs at their crosswalk. The school was involved. They helped paint it. It's beautiful. I mean, those are kind of the things that we are looking at too. So we're willing to work with the community. If you have ideas, we will look into it, and we will just kind of let you know if engineering wise it's possible or not.
Okay. Michelle Luke online.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry if you already discussed this. I kind of came in about maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago. I agree that our 5-way is not suited for a roundabout. There's not enough room even between the different entry points for cars to flow. And I did hear, Chair, your comment about using the type of lights for pedestrians that we see on Kamake'e. I walk that area quite a bit, and it's 50-50 whether a car stops. They don't seem to appreciate those flashing white lights mean yield to a pedestrian. So if we put some kind of lights there, then I would suggest, and I don't know if it's possible, but I would suggest maybe using a red light. And then I also wonder if, a couple things. One, if it's possible to do an all-way stop for pedestrians so they can walk in whatever direction they want in that intersection. And two, if this type of intersection would qualify for camera monitoring for enforcement, because it's really the most dangerous part is that cars are not wanting to stop. And if they do stop, they don't want to wait until somebody else actually goes. They anticipate a car is going in a certain direction, and then they find themselves halfway in the intersection only to realize the car that started out ahead of them is trying to turn in front of them. That happens to me quite often trying to get into our complex. So I'm wondering if, in terms of deterrence, if a camera system is even an option. Thank you.
So the answer to both of those are you need traffic signals. So in order to do a ped scramble or with the peds cross exclusively, it's traffic signals that stop traffic. Red lights, you usually see it in downtown in Waikiki where you have hundreds of people crossing an intersection at a time. The second thing is cameras right now are only at traffic signals. They are connected to the traffic signals. They are tied into red light camera running. They are also doing the speeding cameras. Those are the only enforcement cameras that we have now. Unless you change legislation in the state, that's where the rules and regulations are for the speed cameras and the red light cameras. So I'm sorry, unless there's a traffic signal there, those probably will not go in.
Thank you. Just in follow up to that, do you know if it's possible if the community wanted to fund that, if that could be done?
To fund the traffic signal? A traffic signal could be anywhere from 500.
To fund camera footage.
I don't know if the community would want to pay for it. From what I'm hearing from our traffic signals is it's close to $1 million per signal to run it and maintain it for the year. It's not something the
Cost
community
prohibitive. Yeah.
probably to
Okay.
buy in. Yes, it's a third party company that take all the footage, and it's thousands a day. They go through it, they record it, they send it back to HPD. HPD now goes through each one, determines if it gets a citation, goes back to the third party company, they mail out the citations. It's a big process and it's pretty costly. So it's not something that the community can take on and fund for themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Sure. Thank you for the option though.
Okay, Claire, you'll be the last one before we move on to the next agenda item.
Thank you again, Chair, Director, and Kelly. I think I may be the only person in this room who actually lives up at the five-way intersection. So I talk to my community regularly. We specifically do not want speed humps. It is a residential area. Ba-bump, 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 24 hours a day. We do not want rumble strips all day long. We did want a roundabout or a bulb out or something to something aesthetic that would deter, but I understand that's a tiny and odd shaped, we called it a beanabout, what we could have there. I'm kind of sticking with the automobile or pedestrian triggered flashing lights around the stop sign, not constantly flashing because you get nose blind. You study human factors in engineering and design, correct? With the stop signs, people already don't see them. The one on Iolani is set too far back so they can't see any oncoming traffic. If it's triggered as you approach, then it kind of catches you off guard. And I believe it would give a better chance of people stopping or at least significantly slowing down. That's my 2 cents. I'm kind of stuck on the Oregon approach of the triggered red lights flashing around the stop sign for the next big effort. And please, I really want to see some action before we get run over. You know, I tried crossing the street between Best Buy and Home Depot the other day and found out I'm not so fast anymore. So, so we need to make it safer for cars and pedestrians. Thank you again, Director and Kelly, for doing some brainstorming with us to come up with solutions.
Thank you very much, Claire.
I'll just quickly address that. Yeah, so we'll look into your vehicle trigger flashing stop sign. Yeah, it's probably some type of technology product that we would have to buy, and they would do some kind of sensor in the roadway, similar to like a traffic signal sensor, and then it would trigger it to go on. Yeah, so we'll look into that.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to traffic congestion and safety on South Beretania by Chick-fil-A. Makiki. I know this is a contentious one.
It is. I mean, personally, I don't like Chick-fil-A, but that's so I don't cause the traffic there at all. But I do go by a lot, and I'm aware of the queuing that goes on, and I feel for the people in the condominium at the that have that they tell us that the driveways are blocked. Uh, the city's planning policies on those types of things, because everybody says how they get a permit and all of those things. Well, the way our planning department evaluates, if it's a fast food place, they don't require an extensive analysis. In this case, it was a Burger King. Now it's a Chick-fil-A. And obviously there's a different level of traffic on the two. We've, from a traffic engineering, we've tried to address the driveway issue by putting up signs. We've reached out to the operator of the facility to see if they have self-help stuff that they can do to do it. They did invest in a lot of the double lane stuff so people were aware of the issue. I don't know, Kelly, is there more that I mean, from our perspective, I got to say that DTS under the charter, we're not an enforcement agency, so we do not enforce things. We rely upon either HPD for enforcement, or we rely upon the Department of Planning and Permitting for enforcement against businesses. But we don't have enforcement authority for that. So I know HPD has monitored it. Kelly, you thought anything else? I mean, it's a tough situation. I know that we've talked about the parking restrictions.
Yep. So we have been working with them. We have had many meetings over the last couple of years. We have agreed to allow them to put up this do not block driveway sign, which is not a standard sign. They have come to us many times, and we have finally agreed to allow them to install it. Other than that, and other than HPD helping with enforcement for the illegal parking, like Roger said, we can't go out there and cite them. Even though we know that there's some activity that's illegal, whether they park and they jump out and they run there where it's no parking areas, we can't control that. And again, like DPP, if there's no change in the footprint, they're not required to do a traffic study. So that's kind of where it kind of caught them with the Burger King layout and the same footing. They do have a new one opening up at Ala Moana, which we are aware of as well, and we have limited left turn and right turn access. We are hoping that once that opens, everyone who wants to go to this one Chick-fil-A will kind of split. It's no different than when McDonald's backs up right across the street, which it does also as well, especially on Sundays when Chick-fil-A is closed. So, I mean, these are the things we observe. As for Beretania itself, it's not to the point where Beretania is congested and there's no lanes that get through. So for us, it's kind of hard to do any other mitigative measures because it does not hinder our bus or emergency vehicles, even if they do stack up and block the driveway for the Queen Victoria condos.
Thank you very much. Excuse me.
I guess
Okay.
it kind of goes into the next one. The next one is your question about Hinao.
Oh no, I think there's people that would like to
Oh,
speak
okay.
on this one. Yes.
Sure.
Starting with I saw Tom Heinrich with his hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Roger and Kelly, thank you very much, and Renee for coming this evening on these things. I'll just focus on one thing, which has been many of our pet peeves for a long time. Kelly, thank you for mentioning McDonald's across the street. Between their two driveways, that one parking stall that then ends up blocking 2 or 3 lanes if there is one car there. If there's any way that we can actually get the removal of that one stall, that would help, especially when it gets crowded on the Mauka side. So if there's one thing, I'll stop there. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Chuck. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, Director Morton and Kelly. I know I heard you say that you had numerous conversations and meetings with the Chick-fil-A and probably Queen Victoria also, right? So would it help in the future if, and I also heard you say that you value community input as evidenced by Stevenson. So would it help if HPD, DPP, and you DTS got into a room with these individuals, Chick-fil-A and Queen Victoria, because I know that Queen Victoria and Chick-fil-A has very, very creative ideas. Because until we do something where all the parties involved meet, have a meeting of the mind, so to speak, I think this will keep spiraling out of control. So if you think that that's a good idea, would you be able to help broker a meeting like that?
By all means, we'll help coordinate a meeting. I think DPP is out of it because they are not required to do any other permits moving forward unless they expand or build something on that lot. They do not need to go back to DPP again. So right now they are not violating anything. But we're willing to meet with HPD because HPD can always help us, one, get rid of the illegal parking when they run out and they block the roadway fronting the driveway. What they can also do is keep the traffic moving. So you don't see it often, and you mostly see it at maybe like a big sporting event or if like there's a parking lot that's closed. But we can work with them. I don't know what that would do if they're standing there and they still want to go into a driveway, maybe just to keep the openings for Queen Victoria. But yeah, I'm always willing to help with the conversation. Legally, I don't know what they can do physically out there. They've already have signs at every driveway, the sandwich signs that Chick-fil-A has purchased on their own. They put them up at every driveway, do not block driveway. We put up our own official city sign. I don't know physically what else they can do, but yes, I'm always willing to meet and discuss with them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. I think I saw Debbie.
Thank you for being here.
If you could speak into the mic,
Debbie
please.
Uemura, and I
You could speak
live-
closer into the mic.
I
Thank you
live
very
in
much.
Victoria, sorry. So I guess I'll say I've been following this since they filed the permit, the DPP permit. It went through the traffic review branch. The traffic review branch approved it based on a plan. That plan is not being followed. I realize that has nothing to do with you folks, but there are some mitigating safety issues, and I don't want it to sound like we're beating up on Chick-fil-A, but there are some mitigating issues along Beretania Street. One, with the fact that you can park along the right-hand side of Beretania Street when it gets dark, which then sends Chick-fil-A queue up onto a public roadway into the second to the right lane. The other issue is that there is a bicycle lane where the dedicated part of that bicycle portion ends at Pensacola and Beretania. So then the bicycles have to merge into that right lane, progress down until they get to pass Ward, and then there's a little bit of a roadway again for the bicycles. So I want to address it as a safety issue. That affects much more than the residents.
Right, a little bit. First, I'll note that we are getting ready to start a roadway planning for Beretania and for other larger roads in the area. So that's something that is. Renee, do you know when we would start that urban roadway planning study? Okay, starting. It's going to start anyway. As to the parking, one of the, we've considered that parking. We also consider the businesses there too. that, you know, if we take the parking away from some of those restaurants and other things, we hurt them too. So that's at night. We can look at it again, but that was in our first go around. We're also mindful of commercial business too, and their use of the roadway for parking. That's a little further down than the condo, but I hear what you're saying about having, if it does queue back that far, to have to take part of the travel lane in order to queue and creating the problem. So you want to, yeah.
So we are mindful of our neighbors. We do support our small businesses. I'm a small business owner. There is parking on both sides of Pensacola, the left and the right-hand side. After you pass Beretania Street, there's also metered parking on the left-hand side of Beretania. And there are parking stalls. I see somebody using that. There are parking stalls on the right-hand side into the driveway, past Dewdrop Inn, which is supposed to support those 3 small businesses that are within that area. And I think there's 8 parking stalls there. The problem is that people don't want to use them.
We can go back and take a look at it, but we have the competing demands of different parts of the community. And also, as if we go back and take a look at it, the first thing we'll do is to say, you know, is it an impact? Is it a real impact that we should look toward doing anything with? And that'll be if going back and looking at it, that'll be it. But we are, as I say, we are planning to do roadway planning on Beretania. We will be starting public outreach soon to figure out what kind of overall roadways we can have. You know, Beretania is it's going to require a full rehab. It'll be painful for everybody because we're going to have to take it down about that far down you know, to put the pavement back. And that's but before we do that, we want to make sure that we can look at the current day issues and make sure that when we design the roadway after it gets done, because this will be major work, utilities, you know, under the roadway surfacing, it'll be a major thing. And it's not going to happen for a few years, but we're going to start our planning soon.
Thank you, Debbie. Amanda.
Hi, thank you so much. I just want to note, we did note this 2 months ago to our council members, so I didn't know if he put it up. But since June 2019, there are 3 no parking signs for that are missing on that corner in front of those businesses where they can't park between, I think, the hours of 8 and 6. Those were removed sometime between June 2019 and the most recent December 2024 Google images, and they haven't been replaced yet.
Anybody have any knowledge? Yeah, we checked.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Yes.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you guys for coming. It's been quite a while that we've been dealing with this issue, and it's good to have you here because when we hear what you guys are saying about what's actually happening is not consistent with what we're experiencing living on the street.
Oh, sorry. If we could get your name, please.
Sorry, Christian Chambers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I live at Queen Victoria also. You know, what we need is this discussion. We're not the experts. We don't know how to fix this problem. We just know it's a really big problem. And it's very easy. If you drive by every once in a while, you might not see it. But when it's bad, it's really bad. There's pictures of people pushing strollers into the street to get around, cars that are blocking the driveway because they're halfway in, halfway out. At night, you've got the parking, you've got the cars going in the second lane, and then you get the people that are stuck behind that are now trying to jet out into the third lane. I've seen an accident there before. I mean, it's really an issue, and it needs to be addressed somehow. How that is, we don't really know, but we do really need your guys' help to do that. It's encouraging that the board here has passed the resolution asking for that help. We'd like that you guys take it seriously. The bottom line here is that there is a problem, and it needs to be addressed some way or the other. And no one here is saying that that Chick-fil-A is going to shut down tomorrow. We're going to shutter it. It's not going to happen. We know that. But they made certain agreements. They made certain representations going forward. They were going to do things with the parking. That's not happening. It's contributing to the problem. there are other things that just need to be addressed because it's a really dangerous situation for everybody involved. We really would like to have you guys involved in that process and helping out with it. And sorry, one more thing. I know you're not HPD, but they'll probably listen to you a little bit if you can help encourage them too, because they're, it's really frustrating when we see them drive by the illegal parking. That's
Sorry, you stepped away from the mic. Could you repeat that?
I was just,
Thank you.
I was just saying that, if they could also encourage HPD, I think HPD would listen to other people to help out the problem.
And that's a tool that I do use quite a bit is when we do have an issue that we recognize an issue, we will write a memorandum to the chief asking them to enhance their enforcement and to do that. And it gets attention. If we send them a letter, it gets attention. It's not a permanent thing, but it helps. And that's an easy reach for us is to look at that. First, we with our relationship with HPD, we have to be very specific in exactly what we want them to do and why. But it's an easy thing for me to do.
Thank you, Christian. Yep, Lindsay.
Hi, Director and Kelly, thanks for being here tonight. I've personally emailed with both of you and appreciate your attention to this. I did want to bring up that one solution, and this is really part of Chick-fil-A's own job description for their traffic director position, is that they could have someone that directs traffic on their property, and once their drive-through queue fills up, they have to tell customers to come back at a later time. That would allow businesses like Do Drop In and Fancy Fresh to have that parking and have it not queue up and block a second lane. So I think that's something that Chick-fil-A needs to look at bringing to Hawaii as far as a permanent position there. I also want to bring up the traffic management plan. There's been mixed information provided at these board meetings. Chick-fil-A's PR rep is here, our vendor is here tonight, and she has said in previous meetings that this is a living document. It is subject to change and only applied to the grand opening week. So I just want to hear from you what your understanding of the traffic management plan is and whether or not DPP can enforce having the 2 lanes open surrounding the perimeter of the property.
So I'm sorry, we cannot answer on that. So that again is a DPP. Like you said, we do not have any enforcement. We cannot force them to follow the plan. We cannot make regulations on when they have to follow the plan. That would be a DPP question. What we can do in our end, like Roger said, we can write the memo to HPD. We can ban parking if that's an option. I mean, we can do that. It might affect the other businesses, but maybe just between your driveways to help at least move them closer to the curb. That still doesn't stop them from blocking the ingress and the egress. Other than that, we don't have much power to either force them to follow their plans or to tag illegal parking. But we can work with DPP and ask them and HPD to ask them to do more enforcement. But yeah, so for your traffic management plan, that would have to go to DPP. It's an approved plan with DPP. We don't see those. It goes to DPP and they approve it. We don't have any approval of plans other than like temporary traffic controls when they're building. Then we review that. Again, DPP is the one that officially signs off because they give the permits. So sorry, again, we have no enforcement power. I can put up any signs you want, but I can't do anything if they illegally park there or if they illegally do something other than HPD. Yeah, sorry.
And I just asked because in one of our email correspondence, you had mentioned all they were required to do was a traffic management plan, which CFA has been following. So there seemed to have been some DTS monitoring at some point, and that the city can only ask CFA to conduct a study when the next storefront opens due to the impacts that we're seeing on Beretania Street. But it turns out that a traffic study was not requested or required for the new location in Waikiki, which is at a pretty busy intersection too. So sounds like DPP would be useful at this meeting that they suggested because of that enforcement piece. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We do hope that that as Chick-fil-A does open additional locations, it will spread the demand to different outlets and restaurants. So they're opening one on Kawakawa, they're opening one on Ala Moana. So as you know, that should help spread the apparent great demand for the Chick-fil-A stuff. I'm not saying that would eliminate the issue, but it may diminish it somewhat.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you, Director. Adam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My question is to, I forgot, I didn't catch your name. Lindsay, were you saying that having the 2 lanes going around the building was part of the initial plans, that they were an agreement for them to open up, that they would have that?
Yeah, that was submitted as part of their permit, the traffic management plan, and it showed cars stacked in 2 lanes going all the way around
Okay.
to the very end.
So my question is, and then to you is, if you can't enforce this, and this was something they agreed upon in the building plans, HPD is the one they call for them to enforce that.
Yeah, that would be DPP. And DPP does enforcement around the community on many, many different types of issues. But if it's a business type issue like that, it is DPP.
So what would be the ramifications? Say somebody in the neighborhood sees they're not using the 2 lanes, they call DPP, and then DPP would do what?
Well, DPP has inspectors. They will send inspectors out to make sure if there is a document that requires it, and we really don't even have knowledge of exactly what was the agreement when the storefront went in. But if there is an agreement that can be enforced, then DPP they'll send out their inspectors, and they'll ascertain that if there's an agreement, the agreement is not being followed, and then they'll send a letter, usually a warning letter, and then they escalate from that point, similar to Monster Homes or other things like that we read about in the newspapers. But they are the enforcement entity that will do that. They have the inspectors, they have the attorneys, they have the wherewithal to do that.
Yes, because being guilty of going through Chick-fil-A, having it open to 2 would definitely help traffic on the street. So it doesn't make any sense why they would curtail the agreement that they made unless they're just being difficult for no reason.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Is there any further discussion on the? Yes, I'll take Arthur up next after. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Kanazawa. I'm with Queen Victoria. First, I want to thank the board for the support for at least, giving the city the opportunity to investigate the situation. And, I hope it doesn't look like we're piling on to Chick-fil-A, because we want them to be a good neighbor. And, no one is asking them to shut down. All we're asking for is what they represented to us, what they represented in the traffic plan is fulfilled. My understanding is, aside from not using the 2 lanes, which then reduces the storage capacity on the property, they committed that they would hire a traffic control person when the traffic gets backed up. I believe they also had mentioned that there were additional stalls on the property that they took off. All of this was within their traffic plan. So all I'm saying is, if they made the commitments, for all we know, their changes were perfectly well intended, and that's fine. But I think when the goalpost has moved, we at least would like to get an understanding of the rationale of why they changed the plan. So again, I appreciate working with the city. I think it's an excellent idea of getting all the parties and all the stakeholders together, because I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, what we want is a resolution. Because we don't want to be contentious, and we understand the limitations that DTS has. But, we're just here trying to figure out how we can just make this all work. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Christian. Arthur.
Just
I just wanted to point out one thing that came up recently. Honolulu Museum of Arts and Chick-fil-A came up with an agreement where I think it's approximately 12 parking stalls are in the Homa parking area. You enter off of Kinau. Unfortunately, they don't tell their customers about this arrangement with Homa, which began November 1st. So, but I'm not sure how many people were aware of that, but when I came by today and just checked with Chick-fil-A, are you using that? And they said, oh, no, I don't know anything about it. So their employees, when they take a phone call for a pickup, which ends up on the Beretania Street, tell their customers, enter from Kinau, so you have that parking.
Okay, Arthur, we have a response from Kira right behind you.
Aloha, everyone. Kira Downing on behalf of Chick-fil-A. So we did recently get 10 stalls at the Homa parking lot. Because we don't have access at Beretania right now, we're doing it for employees at this time. We haven't publicly announced it. I think the goal would be to hopefully, show good faith and work towards getting access from Beretania, and then we can open it up. But at this, we just got it. So right now it's not for public use at this time. So we're working through the details. And then to some of the earlier comments, I think, I can assure you that Chick-fil-A is not trying to be difficult, right? Those scenarios that were presented in the traffic management plan, as I mentioned, were kind of geared towards the grand opening. They were fluid. I don't want to belabor it because I know we've talked about this before, but the intent for having the 2 lanes that then come down to 1 is so if I'm in my car by myself ordering, you have a family of 5 you're ordering for, I can get my order and bypass you with that second lane versus having to wait. So it's an efficiency structure of efficiency that they've studied. They have the support of Chick-fil-A Inc., who constantly studies the lot, looks at throughput, looks at how fast they can get vehicles on and off the lot, and are constantly trying to, mitigate traffic and getting people as quickly and efficiency. So that's kind of the intent with that second lane. The parking, I think someone mentioned, we thought that was a great idea, but obviously with one way in, cars would have to then reverse to get off the lot, which would then cause more of a traffic jam to get out. So those now are blocked. And so I think we're just evolving. We had a plan. It's evolving. We're trying to be the best neighbor. And so that was the intent of some of those scenarios that were presented in the traffic management plan.
Thank you.
Any other questions that I didn't answer, but I know I've spoke to those before.
Thank you
But-
very much, Kira. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to Kinau, Pensacola, South Beretania Street, traffic congestion and right-hand turn lane.
So Kinau onto Pensacola, I believe we've responded back to the neighborhood board that physically there is not enough room to make the double right-hand turn. The turning radius is too tight that any larger vehicle would not be able to make the turn from the second lane. So that one we are not recommending. We are looking at the request for Pensacola double right onto Beretania. However, we are looking into it. I do not recommend it at this time, only because I never see the right-hand lane fill to the point that it comes all the way back to Kinau, which means the demand for the double right is not needed. But I'm still studying it. I'm getting volume counts. I will be studying it based on weekend peak hours. So we are taking video to determine what the peak hours are, and we are sending our engineers and techs to study it. I don't believe that's the problem. Like if you look in a lot of these pictures, that right-hand lane is open. It does not warrant the need for a double right. The concern is more going straight and heading into King and down to Kapiolani. If I make it a double right, you are now adding right-hand volumes into the straight volume, which would just make it back up more. So I don't see the need for the double right, but we are still studying it. I know there's a problem that you guys are concerned with. But I hope that kind of answers some of the questions. I'm not sure what the concern, oh,
Yeah, our Complete Streets Administrator reports to 4 directors under the charter. She reports to me. She reports to Department of Planning and Permitting. She reports to the Department of Facility Maintenance. And she reports to Design and Construction. She has independence in the position she has. Her task is to follow the Complete Streets Ordinance, which is a law. And I think she has a different take on a double right turn at this location. So I think I'm going to ask her to come up and share her in the spirit of competing voices.
Very complimentary, just slightly different perspectives. We work really well with Kelly's engineering group. We're kind of planners and engineers who have symbiotic skills and very different ideas. But I did want to share in general about double turn lanes. We have a serious problem in Honolulu with pedestrian safety. Drivers do not stop for pedestrians who have the legal right of way and crosswalks. We have this very insane thing in the United States where drivers sort of have like a green, right? And then the walkers have a walk light. And we often don't separate those in phases, except where we have a very, very heavy right, say at like Safeway or by Queens, right? Where they will get a red turn arrow. But in general, I just want you guys to appreciate that the pedestrian safety problem with a double turn is so much greater than even the single turns that we're really, really struggling with. So like Beretania in particular, we've been looking at, we actually have a mill and fill interim paving project we're gonna come through first with, where we can do some small striping changes. There are 2 double lefts, one at Kalakaua, and then there's another one at Punchbowl. They are both high injury intersections. So I just wanted to share a perspective. It's not, Kelly's group is really wonderful at kind of looking at the throughput, and we do a lot of data collection on the pedestrian side. And so, you know, if they're not seeing a ton of benefit and we're seeing that it could be actually quite detrimental, I did just kind of want to share that perspective in general, that we have a very hard time with double turn lanes unless they are separated by a signal phase. And that, of course, is kind of an expensive capital long project. So just wanted to kind of share that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. Arthur.
I have a question then for design and et cetera. When you look, by the way, I live on the corner of Pensacola and Victoria. Every morning from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, traffic is backed up past Victoria, and they're using Victoria to get down to King Street, so that we all recognize the importance of Pensacola. It is the main thoroughfare from Kinau down to Ala Moana Center or to Kapiolani Boulevard, which is your first area to a turn. So what happens is with one right-hand turn on the corner of Kinau and Pensacola, all of the traffic that's funneling from the freeway down there, they're forced to be in that right-hand turn lane. As soon as they make the right-hand turn, they have, because they're going through, and that particular lane is right-hand turn only, they have to merge over to the left. Now you have all the traffic coming down off of the post office. There's 3 lanes coming down. All 3 lanes are through. The one on the right-hand side lane, once they see they can't get through Kinau and over to their through lane, then they're pushing their way over. So as a result, you have total congestion. And I think if you put a feeder across the street, you will find that evening and morning hours and lunchtime, it happens a lot. So yes, and big trucks, they're forced into that one lane to make a right-hand turn and then have to come out to the next lane to traverse on down going Mackay.
So that's what I want to study. I want to study what we can do to help push them through on Pensacola. I do not feel that the double rights on Kinao or at Veritania will change any of that. So what we need to look at is further down King Street, Kapiolani. Is it a synchronizing thing? Do they need to add more green time? How do we get it to not back up all the way to Lunalilo? It's a different study, but we are looking at that.
Well, one of the things you could look at is from Ward, a lot of the traffic coming off the freeway would go down Ward. They go all the way down to Kapiolani.
Yes,
Because King Street, you can't make a left-hand turn.
correct.
So if you address that as a possibility, those people coming down Ward, turning left on King and getting over to Pensacola, you're relieving some of the congestion that is going all the way down to Pensacola Street.
We can look into that too. We'll look into that too.
Thank you, Arthur. I think doesn't look like there's much more discussion, so I'll take Adam last for this one agenda item.
I'm sorry, I just want to make it so really quickly. I wasn't here for the when the bike lane was added to Pensacola. I live right on Pensacola and Davenport. And I know there was a bike lane that was added there. There is a business on Pensacola before you reach Yobo Mart, which is right there. We have 2 new buildings coming in with condominiums with very little parking. And we have a bike lane there that could very easily be put in 4 other through streets that would lead straight to King and all the way down to the beach. I think maybe we could reevaluate that bike lane and maybe put that bike lane on one of the other 4 streets. And then that way could be parking again on that area for those new buildings that are coming in with not enough parking.
So the city in a whole are trying to promote multimodal. We're going to promote bicycle. We're going to promote riding transit over getting into your vehicle and park. So right now, DPP does not have a minimum limited parking for any new building. We are pushing for multimodal. They do have to have
I
bike
applaud
racks, bike storage areas, but we will probably not relocate the bike lane.
Well, the bike lane's not even most of the time not being used for bikes. It's scooters going the wrong way.
Sure. And right now, I believe with Board of Water Supply project, I mean, that roadway is a mess from Wilder all the way.
I've
to the
lived there
post
for almost 5 years, and that road is always being tore up.
Yeah.
So
So we're still waiting for them to finish. They're supposed to put all the delineators back
Can
and restripe that whole area. But
can
I
you
don't, I'm
unstripe
not
the
sure what
part that does the bike?
I'm not sure what their project is. Do you have any update on that? Sure. That's the water main up by Roosevelt, and it comes all the way down.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. Okay. Moving on. Okay, yeah, we are starting to run out of time here. So construction and roadway closures along South King Street. Did anyone have anything to say about that? Yes, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy again. So construction and roadway closures around South King Street. I have a lot to say, but I'll keep it brief. Director Roger Morton. Hello. Kelly, hello. I lost her. She go. Oh, there she is. I've got a post. Yeah. So on South King Street, to begin with, when they started the work, the repaving, I'm on Palm Drive, right after Zippy's. You know where Sakura Restaurant is and that, okay, Palm Drive. So when they were working over there, there was insufficient signage letting people know what was happening. And a lot of the community came out and they were screaming bloody murder because they didn't know about the work that was being done. On my street, Palm Drive, which is a one-way street, people were turning in there. So they had a sign at the King Street end, but not a sign at the Young Street end. So people were turning in, trying to cut through, and it just got all backed up and there was an accident. And when I asked them to put a sign at the other end, telling them that it was blocked, because they put a "this street is blocked off" sign at the end of the street instead of at the beginning of the street. And when I asked them to move the sign or put another sign, they told me they couldn't do that because it wasn't in the plan. So then I had to make a bunch of phone calls and just to get a sign out there to keep people safe. And I've noticed that that has been an issue throughout. I've driven through, and I've noticed that's been an issue throughout, where there's been insufficient signage letting people know about what is happening and where and for how long. I noticed the signs on the side of the road would say November 7th, and it's like, 4 days later, 5 days later. So we need to really let the community know what's going on. I looked online and I could not find anything prior to this week. That's the first thing.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. This is not the first complaint we've got about poor signage. It is a pretty quick project. This is not a roadway rehab. They are not going far down. It's like mill the top, put the new pavement down real quick. So I hope they will not really be back to drive you crazy anytime soon. They do have to do the permanent striping. And install the delineators. That's the only work that's left on the section that's already been paved. But I do want to say, take our contact information, and if something comes up, let us know quickly, because we can communicate with their construction manager and pass that on. There's bike detours as part of it. We've had some similar complaints from some of our biking community that the bike detour signage wasn't great, and we were able to pass that on, and they were able to make the change the next day. Just until we're done, they're going to go all the way, right? All the way to Eisenberg over there and finish all of King Street. If you see something, please just let us know quickly and we'll jump on it.
This will tug at your heart. We have a pet hospital on the other side of Color Lane, and there was a customer trying to get through, and when she couldn't, her animal didn't make it. Because of all of that congestion.
I'm sorry.
So
Construction is hard.
It was hard listening to her
It's
scream
hard
and cry.
everywhere. I apologize.
Yeah, so we need to do better with that. And when is the striping, the bike lane, all of that going to take place?
I thought they had it scheduled for November, but we're running out of November. So let me see if they have an updated schedule for you. We're trying to push them to try to get to it a little quickly because we don't have proper markings in the bike lane. We know there are some drivers who have forgotten that there was a bike lane there for 11 years and are driving in it. So let me follow up with them and get a better date. We are also eager to get the final striping. Luckily, they're not waiting to do the entire stretch of King. They're going to do to Keimoku first, and then they're going to do the other section second. So I'll follow up with them. But
So will your contact be in the minutes? I mean, will it be in the, where will we find that?
I can give you my card. No problem.
Okay.
I'll just share my number with you now. So you can call me, Kelly Akasaki, aka SAKI, 768-8320, or email me at Kelly, KELLY, .Akasaki, aka SAKI, at honolulu.gov. My office is on the same floor as the street usage permit. So if you call me, I can run over there in 5 seconds, find out what's going on, and they can call the contractor as well. So, yep. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Seeing no other discussion on this agenda item, I'm going to move ahead to South King Street. Bike lane traffic safety.
Is there any specific context for this topic?
I believe I just received a bunch of complaints about how people wish that it would be going in the same direction as traffic. So, on King Street, make it go make the bike lane go one way along King Street, and then along Beretania, make it one way going in the same direction along Beretania. As right now they're two-way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So changes to the bikeway as it exists. Okay. So Roger previewed that we have a pretty big planning study coming up for our large roadways in town. We applied for a federal Safe Streets and Roads for All grant through Federal Highway Administration and won. And we got several $millions to come up with some changes, conceptual changes to the high pedestrian injury corridors that were identified in the Oahu pedestrian plan, the tier 1 high pedestrian injury corridors, like the worst ones that we didn't already have plans for, right? So like North King Street through Kalihi, we have plans for that. Some of our Pensacola, we've been working on for a long time, but there were several that we had never given attention to. They are Wilder, Pi'ikoi, Beretania, Young King, Kaheka, and Kapi'olani, right? Kapi'olani is a personal one for me because I just am tired of people dying. And we're going to fix that in our careers, okay? Anyway, we are going to have lots of opportunity for public dialogue. This is a planning exercise. So it's not like we're designing it and you need to yell at us like you're doing it wrong and slow down. This is a time for us to talk about the differences. We're going to collect data. We're going to do traffic modeling. We're not promising to keep all traffic flowing as well as it does now. But of course, we don't want to break traffic with our safety improvements, right? We're always trying to find that balance. And I think we're going to break this up into 2 outreach sets. We're going to have more of a kind of Kapi'olani, kind of Kaheka sort of conversation, a little more Makai, and then we'll do Wilder, I think Pi'ikoi, and maybe like, Beretania King, and maybe I'll Pi'ikoi in both groups. So we probably won't do Kapi'olani with Wilder. We'll have them separate, but of course you guys are invited to participate in any of them. But we certainly are going to look to the neighborhood board for a lot of representation and participation as we go through that process. So think of your ideas, make your wish list now, and then next year we'll provide a lot of opportunity to discuss them.
Really fast, Nancy.
Yeah, and if we can look at the signage around my area, the people turn in there and I've seen multiple bikes get hit because people are just whipping around and they don't see the one-way signs, or they don't see the signs need to be pulled out. Some of the signs are 20, 30 feet in, and they need to be pulled out towards the bike lane so that people can actually see where,
Yeah, we do want to make we haven't talked about major changes like going to a one-way. I think we like the network connectivity that the two-way provides. Have to think about that one. But we do have some safety issues on the bikeway. We have 3-4 times as many riders as we used to have on King Street, which is a wonderful thing, right? These are all people that are, well, not all of them, but some of them probably were in cars or Ubers or something. But the left turns, of course, are a safety challenge, particularly some of our big intersections, Pi'ikoi. We've had some really unfortunate crashes. So we'll probably be looking at some left turn provisions. But if you have specific feedback like that, that's super helpful too. Yep.
We have a work order already for that concern. So by Tipsy Pig, Sakura, and the music store, we're looking at moving the signs out. So we did get that concern. We are working on it separately. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Okay, we are starting to, Tom.
Thank you, Chair. Roger and team, one question occurs to me for listening to all of this at this point, because we bring up signage so much and whatever. Some of us who've been in the process for a long time know who to call at Department of Facility Maintenance or whatever. But for some of these other things or whatever, any suggestions you have as to who are the best contacts, or if there's a single one or whatever? Thanks.
Yeah, we're a good first start, or even if it's just a faded sign. You could probably go to DFM directly and they would respond, but you can come to us with any of those requests, and we will initiate a work order for DFM. For anything that is a change, it has to come through us. DFM will not implement any traffic engineering change but they, you know, they play with us very well, and they do their backlog, but I think that they do a great job. But if you want to make it easy, you put your request in through DTS. We will make sure that if it's just a DFM replacement, it'll be forwarded on. You want to make?
Yep. So without the Kapiolani contraflow and without the Ward Avenue contraflow, the crews can work a lot more. So instead of the 3 hours in the morning to 2 hours in the afternoon, that's 5 extra hours. They have been pushing out a lot of these workers. So you'll see signs go up much faster than they were when the contraflow was in. So their crew is getting a lot of work done.
Okay.
Just real
We
fast.
are running out of time, so really fast.
Just really fast. Also, for those people who want to know how to put in requests for signs, I've had really good success with the 311 app on my phone. Within a week, I've had signs replaced. Boom. Just so thank you for whoever's responding to that app. That was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it'll usually get channeled to us. I mean, somebody makes a decision on what's in the app and who it goes to. Does it go to Parks? Does it go to us? But that's a great comment. It's 311 is a great app.
Yeah, the stop sign on Davenport and Pensacola. I put it in, and then like a week later, it was up.
And there's, for some things like sometimes traffic signals go out. That's a real time issue. Call 911 when those type of things happen.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. Arthur.
Can you enlighten us on how the traffic will flow around Thomas Square for the Christmas lighting?
Well, I mean, in all candor, that wasn't really something we recommended. That's as far as I'll go.
Okay. Yep. So we are running out of time. So thank you again so much, Director Morton, Engineer Kelly, and Planner Renee. Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on to, are there any community concerns? Yes, you have 2 minutes. And if you could please give us your name.
Good evening. My name's Michelle Alves. I've been a Hawaii resident since January 1st, 1989. Of those 36 years, I've lived the last half of them in Makiki on Pi'ikoi Street, near the intersection of Pensacola. Directly across from my condo is a large 2-story blue house at 1665 Pi'ikoi. Years ago, it was called Jennifer's House, a sanctioned halfway home for women recently released from prison, trying to rebuild their lives. In spite of the clientele being transient, all were welcomed into the neighborhood. The home had a property manager who ensured the residents were quiet and lived according to house rules. Unfortunately, the home was sold to a private individual in March of 2022, according to property tax records. Since this transaction, men have been allowed to rent, which shouldn't be an issue, but it has become one because there is zero supervision. There is no resident manager on site, and the owner is absentee. From the time she purchased, there have been numerous occasions when police, sheriff, ATF, DEA, and canine units are on the property. They block off the entire street, attempting to serve a warrant, I assume, on one or more residents. We, the neighbors, have to deal with this. When rifles are aimed at the home by multiple law enforcement agencies, I, along with my neighbors, find this very concerning. Given what happened in Kaimuki on 10/21/25, where an officer was wounded in a similar standoff situation, I would think this is a situation that needs more attention.
Thank you very much for bringing that to attention. We can't consider it this meeting, but we'll certainly, we'll share it with the mayor's office and we'll try and work on this going forward.
Thank you.
Are there any more? Thank you very much. Are there any more community concerns? You have 2 minutes.
I need 30 seconds.
Okay.
The community of Kahalemoe condominiums and our surrounding properties respectfully request that the 1617 Alapai Bill 7 affordable housing construction be kept on our neighborhood board agenda. They They've done demolition now. They don't have their construction permit yet, and we're still trying to head that off and get that building cut down to respectful size. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Claire. Okay, moving on to board community reports. Harris, okay. Yes, sorry, go for it.
Pardon me, very sorry, and sorry to Harris. Real briefly, again, Ian Ross. I was emailed by residents near 1158 Lunalilo Street. There's a lot of persistent concerns. I think Chuck might recall being in some of the emails with Johnny Papa in that area.
Could you repeat the address?
Sure. It's around 1158 Lunalilo Street.
Thank you.
And so basically what we're hearing about is those many individuals moving in, there's repeated concerns related to drug use, fighting, domestic abuse, dangerous situations. The immediate neighbors have reported theft, property damage, direct threats, trespassing, using their water, electricity, human waste on their property. So there have been some sweeps and they've been temporarily successful when they've happened. What I've been told, and I can't confirm this detail yet, is that the property owner is seeking permits to demolish the property. And so it's abandoned and being occupied, but those permits are being held up currently. So the request to anyone from the mayor's office or the city council will be to look into permits for demolishing 1158 Lunalilo Street and seeing if those can be expedited at all for public safety reasons. The residents also were requesting, this is on their part, that the owner be required to secure and maintain the site in the meantime. So I just wanted to transmit those concerns to this board. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. One last thing. They reported last month, very seriously, there was a fire and the Honolulu Fire Department reported if there'd just been a few more minutes, it could have spread to the nearby properties. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ian. Okay. And then, next up for Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization, we do have a meeting in December 3rd. And then yes, they canceled the November meeting. Okay, moving on to the Kimchi Day in Makiki District Park this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Hope you guys can make it and support the Koreans. Board announcements. Next regular meeting, the Makiki-Lower Punchbowl-Tantalus Neighborhood Board 10 is scheduled to recess in December 2025 and meet next on Thursday, January 15, 2026. At 6 p.m. at Makiki District Park, Old Makiki Community Library, second floor, and online via WebEx. The meetings can be viewed on Olelo Focus 49 on the first Friday at 9 p.m. and the third Sunday at 3 p.m. Olelo.org/tune-in. Follow us at www.facebook.com/MakikiNB and visit www.honolulu.gov/NCO/NB10 for Makiki Neighborhood Board info. And we'll go ahead and adjourn at 8:18.